Welcome to another edition of CMO Perspectives. I'm Matt York, Global CRO at Foundry. I'm delighted today to be joined by Emma Roffey, VP Marketing EMEAR in Cisco out of the UK. Emma, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Just give us an overview of your role at Cisco and also the company's focus, please.
I run a marketing across EMEAR, and that's all aspects, soup to nuts. And I also have a global role responsible for customer and partner advocacy. So our references, storytelling, engagement with advocates.
Okay. ABM, account-based marketing, is obviously something that has really taken hold in B2B as a whole, and certainly in the tech space for at least sort of seven years, and it seems to be more and more relevant every day. How are you approaching that within your strategy? And then are you also leveraging intent data as part of that activation?
Yes, right, where to start? Traditionally, we haven't focused on ABM. Actually, we've been focused on scaling and not so much, apart from in our service provider space. However, for the last year, 18 months, then we are shifting, and ABM is, and I mean that one to few and one to many.
Right.
More one to few, not one to one. We're doing more one to few, and that's dialing up in importance for this FY23. So from the summer onwards, and one of the changes that we're doing, we're having a top 100 accounts globally. We're going to have a top 100 accounts by region, which we have 3 regions, EMEAR being one. And then within the region, we have clusters of countries, what we call theatres. And we're going to have a top 100 by theatre. So globally, region, and at the theatre level, and have quite a bespoke approach to those top 100. And the decision on the top 100 is born from a lot of intent data, a lot of historical data, a lot of behavioural data, wallet share, TAM, you name it. So quite a complicated composite of different data points to determine the top 100 that we believe we need to influence to really move that needle.
Right.
And what we call them, we have a matrix, what we call them, the sweet spot is what we call transformational occasionals, which mean they are high technology adopters on the one axis, and then the loyalty is on the other axis. So they may not be the most loyal, but they're high technology adopters. And what we want to move them to is the top right, from the top left to the top right, to become transformational loyalists, what we call them, which are high technology adopters, high loyalty as well. And we've been doing pilots this year. When you look at those transformational loyalists to that sweet spot, can we move them? And yes, we can if you have the right messaging at the right time. So we're really focused on that from an ABM perspective, but we've selected those accounts of which sales will validate, but they're not necessarily the ones that sales would automatically think they need to target, but based on multiple data, insights and inputs, then we are going to target those and then track that growth.
So our recent role and influencer study that we do annually has shown us that the buying team is now expanded to 21 decision makers within enterprise, and I think this talks to your point about some of the greater involvement around line of business. How are you looking to surround that buying team and then identify kind of key contacts for the sales org to obviously follow through with?
Well, a lot of the data we're looking at will give us the direction which we need to go from a upsell, cross-sell. Because of the breadth of the portfolio, Cisco is quite unique. There's no one can do that depth and breadth as that we do.
Yeah.
So I'd always go back to that complexity. So we will look at that technology adoption. How many architectures do they have with us? How many solutions? So we're looking at the gap that we have. But that's based on the data, based on the intelligence. And then upsell, cross-sell programs, acquisition programs are put in place. We will look at the number of contacts we have. That's us being proactive and that outbound and enabling sales, make them aware that, because what doesn't have, as I think if you just described, but it doesn't work in Cisco really, is if you're feeding sales and then expecting them to eat. No, they're not going to do that. They don't see part of that job. We need the tools and processes to say, look, this is what we're going to do, and we'll execute on your behalf, as though it's coming from them. Yeah. Then you get better traction. I don't think sales still feel like it's their job to do marketing as they see it. We need the tools, the processes, the platforms, the ease, to be able to do that on their behalf. So it is more personal for the customer, and you get that cut through. So that's where we're going now. That's where we have been going and trying in some areas. And then obviously what happens organically, when we look at contact acquisition there, the accounts, the growth in the contacts that we're doing. So there's a mixture between proactive and reactive, and what we used to call our always on journeys, and what we're attracting through all the paid media activities and everything. So you're, acquiring that, but then it's the art of matching it all up and then looking at that company profile to be able to share back. So it is complex. It's definitely complex and growing. But out of all those different groups, we're very strong in the IT sector. We have been growing more in LOB, obviously, and as I said, now the focus for me is more and more C-suite and the influencing the C-suite.
Are there any projects that you're currently, more excited about?
One thing for us, which I'm sure many people can relate, is articulating the value of marketing, or articulating everyone wants a coin-operated machine with marketing. The most question is, what's the ROI on this? I hate that question, because particularly sales want it so, like, if I give you $1, what am I going to get out? So one thing we are doing, and we've never got it right yet, and we're changing, is what we're calling the new CMO dashboard. So we're actually changing the measurement and changing the metrics that we're sharing with the sales leaders to see if we get traction. And some of them are your core marketing metrics. So we will look at brand, we will look at share of voice, we will look at demand, typical demand, bookings, pipeline, etc. But the third area is looking at marketing influence more, the influence we're having on the pipeline, average order value, time to close, significantly engaged, and also these top 100s. We'll be looking at how we move the needle on the top 100s. We'll do that by these key campaigns, by region, by technology. So really trying to shift that conversation with sales in terms of the really articulating marketing's value. And I'm quite excited about that, and this top 100 approach, actually, and the C-suite. So I'm excited about quite a few projects, actually, but the one that I think we really need to nail is articulating marketing's value. In order to get more investment.
It's an exciting time for the industry, and I think it's an exciting time for Cisco. So Emma, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.